Well, this is Monday. Been raining most of the day. Had to bring my dog out and let her do her business. I enjoyed so much being with my brother, with George. But I'll tell you what, it's got me in a bit of depression. I'm gonna have to go over and meet them new neighbors. That guy's getting in his van or turning some lights on or something. They just moved in there. That house was for sale for about a month. It didn't stay long before it got sold. But just seeing him like he is, and him being 3 years younger than me, makes me feel guilty because I'm nowhere near that feeble. And you know, I'm torn because I know how things are with me and Jennifer, and she fusses at me. I won't say a lot, but she fusses at me a bit. But my daughter, and thank God I got her here with me, but she still don't understand how it is for me. You know, but with George and his daughter, it's worse because he's so dependent on her. And she does what she has to do. And the last thing I told her, standing right over there on that driveway, I said, I understand your predicament, dear. And I said, but I also understand George's. So I kind of understand both sides. And she just winked at me and smiled. Marsha, she's not a little girl now, for sure. But used to when she was a kid, she used to love to get up there and clamp onto my mustache and pull on it. And she was a skinny little girl. And she's a preschool teacher now. She's done 2 or 3 things. She was a security guard when she first got out of high school at King's Dominion. That's in Richmond, Virginia. But she was a security guard there. Then she went to the dental assistant's high school or something to be some kind of assistant to a dentist. And she got her studies done on that. She went to work for a dentist. She done it for a year, and she said she hated that work. And then she went to work for You know those portrait studios used to be in all the Walmarts, one little corner over there, and you could go in there. I think they were called Picture Me or something like that. But she went to work for one of them, and she excelled in it, and she kept getting promotions. And she wound up being a district manager. She had 22 Walmart stores that she was over, the portrait studio. And it covered 2 or 3 states. And she was making a lot of money. But I guess the pressure of it, having to constantly hop on the plane and go here and there to either open a studio or close one or something like that. But I guess she done that for about 2 or 3 years. George told me what her annual salary was a year, but I forgot what. It was way up there. But she just am I talking to the air? No, I'm recording. She just got tired of it, and then she quit that, and now she's at home with George, her dad. That's the house she was raised in. And she's a preschool teacher. And she seems to like it. And her younger sister is a teacher in another town somewhere, and she lived there at the house till about 4 years ago, and she got married. But thank God George has got her there with her. Now she's got this kid, 6 years old. I'm used to my boys. How you doing? So that was a trip for me, just kind of getting used to being around that kid, and he's 6, fixing to be 7. But she takes care of George, but there's no way she could know what he's feeling and what he's going through. I know what he's feeling and going through. I mean, this is a man that had his own business and all that stuff, and he was in charge and all this stuff, and he worked for the college for over 10 years running a cafeteria. I don't know why that turns off like that. But now, up till about 4 years ago, George was working. He was working at the funeral home. He was going out and picking up bodies, and I don't know how he stood that, because he was telling me one time, said it's one of the worst ones he ever had to do. It was a wreck on the interstate, and a truck had run over this little girl over her head and all that, and he had to gather all that up and get it back to the funeral home. And then there was a time that he had to go to a house where It was domestic abuse or something, but the woman walked up behind her husband. He was sitting at the table, and somehow or another cut his head almost off. And he said that was bad, but that's been where we had to gather up that little girl's remains out there on the highway. Man, there's no way I could handle something like that. I just couldn't. I couldn't. And in this state, if there's somebody dies accidentally or something, or is murdered or something, the county coroner comes out and he gets the body and they do the autopsy. And in the state of Virginia, it don't work that way. This funeral home has to go out and get all that up, and either take it to the funeral home to be processed or whatever you want to call it, or take it to the coroner where they're going to do an autopsy. Guys, there's a lot of bad things in this world. But I just feel so bad for my brother, because I know, and I said, George, she's only got your good intention. He says, I know that. And I says, I don't know if I could sit there and take the verbal stuff that she throws at him. And he went like this. Let me see if I can show you. He pointed to one ear, and then he did this to the other ear. And I said, what's that mean? He says it goes in one ear and out the other. Okay. But it's got to be working on him having to be treated like a child. Oh, God, I love that boy. Yes, I do. She's talking about maybe doing another trip like this again, but I don't know how long George can make it like he is. You know, he's had prostate cancer. He had something on the colon that was cancerous that we took out. He's had just so many things wrong in the last 4 years. Oh, damn, this just tears me up. I feel so guilty that I come out here and, you know, I can walk around. I can go anywhere I want. If I want to, I can get the keys to the car from Jennifer and I can go do some shopping on my own. George can't do that. And he was sitting there, I guess tongue in cheek, and he said, yeah. I said, well, who pays the bills? And he says, Marcia. He said, I can't pay no bills. Said, she took my driver's license. She took my debit card. She gets my Social Security. And he said, if I had to show you $1 right now, I couldn't. But he said it's best because he wouldn't be able to remember all that stuff. And he takes pills. He's got his medication. I thought I took a lot of medication. But my gosh, 2 doses a day, and there must be 25 or 30 different pills at a dose. I've only got 8 or 9. I am so thankful that I am like I am. I don't feel disabled. I'm disabled, but I don't feel disabled. And I'm out and doing, and it's fixing to rain again. For the last 4 days, it ain't done nothing but rain. I don't know how Marcia and that kid stood it. They went to SeaWorld, they went to Busch Gardens, they went to the that big water park. They was just out doing stuff. They left Friday evening, afternoon. They didn't get back to the hotel till around 10 o'clock. And they did the same thing Saturday. They left Saturday morning. We didn't see them no more till 10:30 that night. Which is okay. Me and George, we sit there and talk and stuff. Who opened that door? It's raining. Raining in my heart. Can't remember what song that was, but I gotta get inside. I got me a pot of beans on the stove.